Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, because I know that in some places it is evening now. How are you doing? How is your day going so far? I trust your day has been fruitful. I trust your day has been valuable. And I trust that you have been growing somehow. Somehow. So how are you? How are you? I'm good. For me, myself, I'm doing very, very well. My network is a bit sketchy today, so bear with me. I don't understand why it's sketchy, but it is a bit sketchy. So bear with me. Okay. So I don't understand why it's sketchy, but it is a bit sketchy. Okay. I just needed to check that it is loud enough for us to hear on the live. So, welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. Um, okay, so I'm just looking at my setup to be sure everything is okay. All right, so welcome to Growth Habits. This is session 85. We are quickly running towards session 100, and we will get there very, very soon. I think I need to calculate when we're going to get to that session 100 because we need to celebrate that 100th session of Growth Habits. It has to be something special. It has to be something special because it's worth celebrating. When we started this journey, we did not know at all that we would get to this place. Honestly, I never thought that I would get to this place, but here I am, session 85. Okay, session 85. We started a new discussion, a new conversation about the managing change. Change management essentials is basically what we called it. Uzo Cody, welcome. I'm glad you're here this afternoon. So we called this series where I'm looking at change management essentials, and we decided to look at this period because everybody basically is preparing for next year. Everybody is putting in their plans for 2025. We're preparing it. We've even started implementing for some people. And I felt that as you're making those plans, as you're preparing for next year, you need to factor change into those plans because something will definitely change. Something will change. There is no way that there won't be any kind of change. But when you prepare for change, you do better when the change comes. Now, of course, we cannot predict what will change. We cannot predict how it will change. We cannot predict when it will change most times, but we know that things will change. When we prepare for change, we will equip ourselves with what we need to ensure that the process of change is as seamless as possible. When change comes, it doesn't take us by surprise. We are able to make sense of it. We are able to, weather the storm, as they would say. So that is why we decided to look at this series and to end the year with this series on change management essentials. We started the session by doing an introduction to change management. We asked ourselves, what really is change? What is change management? And we know that change management is a structured approach, that is a plan put in place that helps individuals, that helps teams, that helps organizations transition and move from their current state to a desired future state. That is what change management is all about. Managing that process, kind of being in charge of that process from moving from here, which is where you are today, to where you want to be tomorrow. And so that is why it is good and is essential. I don't want to say it's essential. It is essential, actually, that you understand the process while you're planning, so that it will help you be able to put in place what needs to be put in place before you move into the new year, before you start the new process. All right, so that was our first session. We just gave the general introduction, looked at one or two things about change management. And in the next session, we looked at types of change because, yes, change is change, but there are different types, and the way you manage the different types, they're different. We realized as we looked at the types of change that they are strategic change, that is a change that has to do with the trajectory of your life, the whole direction that your life is going, whether as an individual or an organization, any change that will affect the main purpose of your life or the direction that your life or your business or your work is going is a strategic change, is a long-term change, and the way you would face it is definitely not the same as how you would face a structural change that has to do with maybe an item or so, an aspect, sorry, not an item, that might have to do with an aspect of your life. So we need to kind of do that in our plans in preparing for whatever we're preparing for. As we're preparing for next year, as we're putting in place our plans, we need to understand that maybe there's an adjustment that needs to be done in our roles. Maybe there's an adjustment that needs to be done in your routines, in your habits. That is a structural change. Of course, the way you handle a structural change will probably definitely, if I would definitely be different than the way you will handle a strategic change. For example, a structural change, maybe you need to put in your planning changes to your habits or something. Your habits need to change. In that situation, you would probably need to create schedules, like a fitness routine. As I think we used weight loss that last week when we talked about it. You have to begin to put in place a fitness routine. Now, this is not like it could be life changing, but it's not like a strategic change that, turns your whole life purpose around. Is not the same. But this, you would need to ensure that whatever structure, whatever routine you're putting in place for that structural change is one that fits you. You can't just maybe wake up and just say, okay, for example, we're going back to weight loss. I don't know why. You want to start exercising, then you need to begin to look at what do I have to do every day to ensure that I meet my weight loss goals. Yes, definitely, for sure. But when you're looking at a strategic change, you need to sit down and really, really look at what are the long-term effects of this change. Let's assume you're changing career path. You're moving away from one career path you have been on to another. You really do need to sit down and plot out, what do I need to do? Because it will affect the focus. Honestly, it will affect your focus. It will affect the way you manage your time. It will affect the way you prioritize your goals. It will affect a lot of things. You might need to learn a new skill by reason of that strategic change that's affecting your whole life, the whole course of your life. Now, of course, if for health reasons you need to probably start an exercise regime, that could also, be looked at as a strategic change because it will affect the whole trajectory of your life. Yes. But generally, things like changing your habits, the way you eat, maybe creating daily schedules, they are not as, I don't want to say life threatening, but life changing, as maybe you're changing your career focus, or what other idea can you decide to go back to school, you're starting a business. Those ones generally upend your life generally. But if you're just you just want to change your eating habit, it doesn't always upend your life. You can actually adjust one or two things and you still be on track. So that is a structural change. Then we talked about technological change. There's something that has to do with technology. Maybe introducing a new system. I gave the example of GTB introducing Finacle, I believe, into as a banking system, as a banking app. Personally, you upgrading your digital skills, you're integrating or introducing some apps to help you manage your life. These are technological changes. And I think the last thing we talked about was a cultural change. As per the different types of change, you talked about cultural change. And this could be anything from a company deciding to be more inclusive, to employ more women, to things like that, to employ people who have disabilities or differently abled, as they say, and things like that. That would be a cultural change for like an organization. Or you're trying to introduce a new culture into your organization, maybe be more customer focused. These are cultural changes. For an individual, developing a growth mindset is a cultural change. Of course, adopting healthier lifestyle is a cultural change. Even being more inclusive in your dealings with people is also a cultural change personally. And we agree that when you do things, there are some challenges that come with these different types of changes, but the idea of the purpose is to be ready for them, be prepared, and know that these things will probably come. For most of them, actually, when you look at this, most of the changes that I mentioned, there are things that you would probably have an idea about. Sometimes, of course, you can never know. For example, you're working, you get sacked. That is a great big cultural life change, and it could change the whole trajectory of your life. But most times, for a strategic change, is not complete. You're not taken completely unawares by it most times, because anything that's going to change the whole focus of your life, the whole purpose of your life, generally does not happen by accident. So you can prepare for that much better. Maybe the structural changes may take you by surprise. Technological change, you may not have thought about it before the time it happens, but definitely a strategic change is difficult for it to just happen to you most times. Of course, nothing is cast in stone. So we concluded by saying that when you understand the different types of change, it will help you approach that change proactively with a plan, knowing that if this happens, this is what I will do. Okay, so that was last session. Yes, that was last session. Today, we want to look at the change management process itself, the process of managing change, a kind of step-by-step guide on how to manage change. We said that change management is a structured approach, which means, you put things, is a plan you make on how to manage change, how to navigate change, how to implement change when it comes. Not even if, it will come. Change will always come. Like I said, you might not know when, you might not know what changes, but change will definitely come. So there has to be a system in place that helps you manage change, that helps you navigate and implement change when it comes. Okay, so that's what we want to look at today. Susan Anumele, thank you for joining me this afternoon. I'm glad you're here. So that's what we want to look at. And generally, there are 4 steps to the change management process. These 4 steps can be expanded, can be, kind of reduced, but they're basically the 4 steps that are needed in a change management process. And these 4 steps are planning, communication, implementation, and evaluation. Now, like I said, each step can be expanded to be as long as possible or shortened, but these are the 4 basic steps that are taken in the change management process. And this is applicable to an organization. This is applicable to you as an individual. Like I said, we are preparing for 2025 now, just about everybody. Some people are done. Some people are still in the process. And we need to look at this process so that as change comes within our year, we are ready for it. So each of these steps in this change management process, the aim is to help you execute change smoothly, and manage resistance if any occurs, and to also make sure that in the end, or at the end of the process, the outcomes that you want, you can sustain them. This is the aim of having a change management process, because sometimes also we embark on change at whatever level. We embark on change. Just give me a minute. I need to adjust my light a little because it seems to be a little high. So I guess this is better. I just feel that it's a little dark. I don't know if it's me. Maybe it's me. But it just feels to me like it's a little dark. I wanted to adjust the lights just a little bit to make it a little bit brighter. Okay. Well, one of the reasons, as I told us last time, is that there was a time change where I am, and we have gone back 1 hour. So it's actually still quite dark outside. It's still quite dark outside. In fact, it's 5 a.m. where I am now. So we are looking at the change management process, and we will start with the first step of a change management process, that is the planning stage. The planning stage. This is the process of preparing for that change. And you do this by identifying what are the objectives, what do you need to carry out this change, what are the things you need to do in order to get the outcome that you're expecting. This is the planning stage. What change are you trying to achieve? Why do you want to achieve it? Or why do you want this change to happen? What is really the objective? What is really the aim of this change that you're trying to plan for? You might say, is a change. Why am I thinking of the objectives? This is why, and this is how change becomes easier for us to manage. Okay, it's fine. Okay, the lighting. Okay, so maybe it's me that is not, is my eye. Is my eye. Okay, so definitely we know that change will happen, just like I've said severally. But when we plan for change, we have to consider why. For example, you want to change careers. Why? I've said this severally, I believe, severally. We don't interrogate our thoughts, actions enough as a people. We really don't. We need to be able to ask ourselves the whys. Why am I doing this? You want to change careers, I said. Why? You want to begin to live a healthier life. Why? You want to begin to introduce some apps, some productivity apps into your day. Why? See, it's not just because I need it. No. I believe this is where a lot of us miss it. Because when we ask ourselves the why, we just give a very surface answer, response to it. Okay, why are you changing career? Because I need to. That's not why. That is really not why. You don't really need to be very honest. You need to sit down and figure out truly the why. Is it that you're dissatisfied? If you're dissatisfied, why are you dissatisfied? What about the current state is making you not to be satisfied? So when you dig deep like this, when you take the interrogation process a little deeper than just that first level, I can't remember when we talked about this, but I believe we talked about a process where you ask 5 questions, 5 whys. I believe so. 5 whys. In trying to get to the bottom of any action or anything truly. You ask 5 whys. Why am I changing careers? Because I'm dissatisfied. Why am I dissatisfied? Because things, I've looked, I'm not being fully, my brain is not being fully utilized in this current job or in this current career path. Why is your brain not being fully utilized? Because I'm doing only calculations and my brain has a creative portion which I'm not using. Why are you not being or not utilizing the creative portion of your brain? This is how it works. By the time you get to the 5th why, this is what experts say. By the time you get to the 5th why, sometimes you don't even get to the 5th why. But by the time you get to that 5th why, you see that you have gotten to the main core, the root of the matter. But if you had stopped at the first why, you will just have a surface understanding of what is happening with you. Okay, let's use another example. I'm backing on a weight loss or healthy lifestyle journey. Why? I'm overweight. I need to lose weight. Why? My eating patterns are not the best. My eating habits are not the best. Why? Because I'm a stress eater. Once any little thing stresses me, I eat more than normal. Why? Because I am not dealing with my emotions. What is the cause of the stress? I'm not dealing with it. I'm just using food. Have you seen that I've dug deep and I've gotten to a deeper level of what is causing me to need this change? By the time I get to, at least I think I've asked 4 whys, and I got to the fact that I'm an emotional eater and I'm not dealing with my emotions. Now, when I'm putting in place my plan to change, I will take into cognizance the fact that I am not dealing properly with my emotions, and I will put in a plan to deal properly with my emotions. By the time I deal with that and then I introduce the newer lifestyle, it's easier for me to stick with it. It will be more sustainable than if I just stopped at the first why of I need to lose weight, I'm overweight. This is how you sustain change. This is how you ensure that the change is not something that's tomorrow it's disappeared. You become disinterested and you drop it. So this is part of the planning stage. This is that preparing for change, identifying the objectives, assessing what do you need, the resources you need to bring about this change, then outlining the steps that you need so that you get your desired outcome. This is how it's done, by asking these probing why questions. Okay. I think I've basically talked about this step that is needed in that first part, that is recognizing the need for the change. You want to improve your health, you want to improve your career prospects, whatever it means. Then once you have asked those whys, you need to now define clear, actionable goals, clear ones. Not I will run every day. No. For example, I'm going back to the healthy lifestyle, or I will exercise every day. That is not a goal that is truly achievable. You need to break it down to I will exercise 30 minutes every day, or 30 minutes 3 days a week. That's because there is a specificness or specificity. How do they speak that English? Anyway, you have a specific target set. It's easier to reach than just I will exercise. I will exercise really means nothing because there is no specific target attached to it really. So it's easier, or less easy to track it, to know whether you are doing it, well, you can even say, okay, if you say I will exercise every day, you can check. I only exercise 3 times this week. I did not exercise every day. But when you now drill it down further and say, I will exercise 30 minutes every day, you see that that is much, much more easier to track. Or I will exercise 30 minutes every or 3 days in a week, whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is, but let those goals that you're setting, let them be specific. Let them even have a time, if possible, let them have a time boundary. Okay, you want to change careers, and part of what you need to do is you need to learn a new skill, which means you probably have to take a course. How long are you giving yourself to take that course? When we set targets like this and not just vague, open-ended targets, it's easier for us to track and it's easier for us to sustain whatever outcomes we get from those targets that you have set. So let the goals you're setting, let them be clear, let them be specific, let them be, actionable, something you can actually do. Yes, don't be vague, be specific with your goals. It helps you better when you do that. You can achieve them better. Okay, then what resources do you need to achieve this goal? Do I need more time? It means you have to sit down and work out your day and see where best to, going back to the healthy lifestyle, you want to exercise more. When will you be exercising? Is it in the morning, 30 minutes? Is it in the afternoon, 30 minutes? Or is it in the evening? When you work these specifics out, it's easier for you to track and it's easier for you to sustain. So, what resources do I need? Time? Do I need money? Will I need to buy something in order to maintain this new life I want to live, this new healthier life? For example, most times when we want to live healthier, we want to cut back on carbs and we want to increase our intakes of vegetables and proteins and such. What would that cost you? What are the cost implications? I think many a times we falter because we have not taken time to do this analysis. Onopose, welcome, Onobi. Welcome. I'm glad you're here this afternoon with me. So work out the cost implications. It's not just that you have set your targets. What will it cost me to meet these targets? I want to exercise 30 minutes every single day. How do I do it? Where do I get that 30 minutes from? Already you have your day. Before you began this new process, you have your activities, you have the things you normally do. So how do I fit this? How do I adjust? So you look at your time requirements. What time do you need to put in to ensure you achieve this goal? You look at, is there any monetary need? Is there anything I need to spend money on in order to achieve this goal or to achieve this target that I have? Do I need help? Do I need like a buddy, somebody that will go on this journey with me? Do I need a coach? What do you need? Sit down and look at all of these things, assess them before you embark. Then once you have done this, you now have your plan. So you can see that your planning stage involves quite a lot, but if you get the planning stage done properly, the other stages become somehow easier. But if the planning stage is not done properly, you don't take the time that is necessary, you don't take the steps, it becomes more difficult for you. It's not as if it's now impossible, but it becomes more difficult to achieve the change and to ensure the change happens as seamlessly as possible. Okay, the next stage of the change management process is communication. You have done your plan. You have sat down, asked the whys, and come up with a plan. Now you need to communicate that information. You need to share it. For like an organization, you need to share it with all your stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders in this change? Is it the staff? Is it creditors? Is it your clients? Is it whoever? They need to be informed and they need to be carried along in this change you want to carry out. For a personal change that you want to embark on, you might need to tell your family, because of course, for example, you're changing your eating pattern. Your family needs to know so that they don't keep putting temptation in front of you. Or because you might actually have to change how your whole family eats for you to sustain your healthy lifestyle plan. So that's why I say that the planning stage is very key, very important. Because at that stage, you would have known that for me to sustain this process, I need the buy-in of my family. Because if you're one thing that makes us fail, especially when it comes to a lifestyle change of weight, you want to change the way you eat, you want to change your diet and all those things. If you're trying to do low carb, that is what you're trying to do, and every other person in your household is still on the old meal plan, you will get tired quickly. You will get tired quickly. If you're the only one eating salad every day, or you're the only one eating veggies all the time, or you're the only one doing the high protein diet, you will get tired quickly. So that is why it's necessary to communicate, share the information with people who will be affected by this change you're embarking on. Let them know. Tell your family, tell a few friends, because sometimes friends also help. Your friend can now become your buddy, can become the person that is your accountability partner. These are the things. So ensure that this change is communicated somehow. It helps, especially in an organization. This is one thing that I saw in my years of working. When organizations want to implement a change, they don't carry like the employees along. They just maybe inform you, we are changing this, and that is it. And that is why a lot of times those processes don't succeed, because you did not communicate it properly. You did not get the buy-in of the stakeholders. It's very essential that you get the buy-in of the stakeholders for your change process to truly bring about the results that you seek. If you don't get the buy-in of those that are affected by the change, they will frustrate the change, whether knowingly or unknowingly. So you need to ensure that it's communicated and that you get on the understanding of the affected persons and their buy-in, so that they don't become the resistance that crumbles your change process. Because resistance always comes, and most times resistance comes from those that don't understand what you're trying to do. Of course, sometimes it can come from those that do understand, but generally, it comes from people that don't understand what you're trying to do. So, get their buy-in. And the buy-in is not just at the beginning. There has to be constant communication. You have to keep people up to date. If there is an adjustment to the plan, people need to know. And they need to be brought up to date on what is happening. Then get their feedback also. Get their feedback. It always helps. Feedback, well, of course, you don't now drown in feedback, but feedback is good, because it helps you adjust your plan if there is a need to. If there's any need to make any adjustment to the plan, it's when you get feedback that you'll be able to make those adjustments. All right, so that is stage 2, or step 2 in the change management process. Step 1 was planning. Step 2 is communication. Get this information out to those that need to know, those that will be affected by the change, so that they can even help you, really. Because when people are aware of a change that you're embarking on, they can more easily help you. They can more easily help you. So communicate it. Seek advice where necessary. Seek guidance. This is all part of the communication stage. Seek advice, seek guidance if you need it. Don't be like an island. Seek advice. Seek guidance where you need to. Ask questions from those that maybe have been along this path that you're going on, or from those that are experts in this area, or whatever aspect that you're trying to embrace this change. Seek advice, seek guidance. Okay, Eudora, thank you for joining me this afternoon. I'm glad you're here. We are talking about the change management process itself. And we said that the first step is the planning stage, where you ask the whys. Ask the question, why? And experts say by the time you ask why 5 times, going deeper each time, you would have gotten to the root of that problem. You would have gotten to the reason why you need to change. So it's not enough to just ask the first, why am I doing this? And then you stop there, go a step further, go a step further. And by most times, you might not get to the 5th why question, but at least by the time you get to the 3rd, 4th, you've gotten to the core, the main reason why you need this change. Then the second thing you need to do is to communicate. Don't just have your plan and then it's with you and you only. Communicate to the parties that need to be part of this, people that will be affected by this change that you're embarking on. They need to be informed about it, because also they can give you feedback that will help you in that process. All right, the next step in the change management process is actual implementation. You have planned, you have communicated, it's time to just do it. That is implementation. Put it into practice. Execute. Many of us falter at this point. We plan and plan and plan, and we have our plan, we have even maybe communicated, and then when it's time to execute, we lose, what's the word I'm looking for? We're not able to execute. We lose the zeal, we lose that momentum. But implementation is important. If you plan for change or for anything, and after planning, you don't actually implement it, of what use was the whole exercise to plan for this change? So execution, implementation is key. It's very important. For like in an organization, normally what they would do is roll out like a trial run, do like a trial run. Excuse me. Do like a trial run first. That is part of implementation, but just go ahead and start. Don't be tied up in the planning stage and never implement. Don't be so focused on trying to get the perfect plan and then you never do anything. So implement, execute, do what you need to do. Start that, go to the shops and buy the food stuff you need to buy if that's what you need to start your new healthy lifestyle. Get the videos on YouTube if that's what you need. Get the coach if you need a coach. Whatever it is that you need to do, start. Start. Begin implementation. You don't even have to implement everything at once. You can start small. Start implementing small parts, small portions of your whole plan, but be consistent in all. Be consistent in implementing it. Be consistent in doing what needs to be done. be consistent in doing what needs to be done. Like you can start small. See that I think this is another area that we generally falter. We want to let's go back. I don't know why I keep going back to lifestyle changes and weight loss and all that, but let's go back to that. You want to lose, for example, 10 kg. That is your full plan to lose 10 kg. And you take off expecting to lose that 10 kg in the next 2 weeks, 1 month. You've already prepared yourself to fail, honestly. Start with, let me change my eating first. Leave the kgs. Start with, let me make changes to how I eat. Let that be the first part of your implementation plan. I will remove or reduce, let me never say remove. I reduce my intake of carbohydrates. If I used to eat a cup of rice, I'll start eating half a cup. Start with those small things. Start with the small things. Don't try to achieve the whole plan all at once. No. Most times that is you preparing yourself to fail. Start small. Pick up, do as I think they call it in corporate circles, phased rollout. Do a phased rollout of that plan, of that change you want to achieve. Do a phased rollout. Don't do everything at once. Going back to the lifestyle, start small. Maybe just start with introducing more activity into your day. Increase your step count. Say, okay, I'm going to increase my step count by 1,000 steps. Don't even go with from somebody that is in a whole day, you're doing 3,000 steps, you now jump to 10,000. It won't work. It might work for a while because the initial ginger, we know now, the initial motivation will make you hit 10,000 steps 2 times, 3 times. You might even carry it up to a month. But after that, you will get tired. But if your target is 1,000 additional steps this week, and you try and you're consistent with adding 1,000 additional steps, 1,000 additional steps, before you know it, you have hit the 10,000 steps mark and you didn't realize when you hit it. So start small. Implement small aspects of your plan. You must not jump into the whole plan at once. No, you must not. It's more sustainable when you do a phased rollout of your plan. It's more sustainable. Another thing that does is that because it's a small portion, you achieve it, you're excited, your momentum to go and do the next one is high. You're charged up. I was able to increase 1,000 steps. Okay, let me do 1,500. And small, you're building your momentum. You're building your excitement. You're building your ability to sustain this change because you have done 1,000 steps for how many, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows, additional 1,000 steps, and you have sustained it. Now you add extra 500 and you try and you do your best and you get it. See, those little wins that you're achieving will keep your momentum high so that you are able in the end, by the time you get to December, for example, let's assume this is a 1-year plan to live a healthier life. By the time you're getting to October, November, you are hitting 20,000 steps without realizing it. But if you start off with, I must hit 10,000 steps, and, with the initial momentum, with the initial, ginger, you start hitting 10,000 steps today, tomorrow, along the line, you will get tired. This is how life is. So we can apply it to whatever change we're trying to do. Do a phased rollout of it. Don't, make it, I must do everything at once. Do a phased rollout. And as you're doing the phased rollout, as you're going, adjust as you go. Adjust the plans. Adjust the targets as you go. That is how change is sustained. That is how change is sustained. Adjust the plan as needed. There is no plan that should be cast in stone. If not like this, no other way. No, adjust as you go. Give yourself permission to adjust the plan. This is how the implementation stage is sustained, and you will begin to see results. And results gives you more momentum to do more. So, implement, execute, start that process, but you can do a phased rollout of it. Start small. You want to learn a new skill. Tell yourself, I will commit 1 hour, 30 minutes every day. Yes, little by little. I will contribute 30 minutes every day to learn this skill. Before you know it, your 30 minutes has increased to 1 hour. But if you write off the bat, I need to commit 2 hours to learn this skill, most times you do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, maybe you're tired. The motivation disappears. But when you break it into small, actionable parts and you begin to achieve them, that builds your motivation. That builds the momentum. That makes you more excited to try to hit the next target. So do phased rollouts of your plan. It makes it easier. It's not the only way, but I know that it makes it easier to have a sustained success in your plan. Okay. And the final stage or the final step in the change management process is evaluation. So you have planned this whole change that you want to embark on. You have planned it. You have sat down. You have thought about it. You've asked yourself the whys. You have figured out, what is the root cause of this discomfort you're feeling, this need to change, for example. You have figured it out and you have made your plan on how you want to achieve it. Remember that these plans have to be specific. You can't just have vague targets, vague goals flying around. They should be specific, targeted. Now that you have prepared that plan, communicate it, especially to those that will be affected by this change. Especially to those that will be affected by this change. Your family, your workers, the people who will be affected depends on what change you're embarking on. So who will be affected? Ensure that they are communicated. Let them know and then implement. Don't be stuck at the planning stage. Just start and start small. When you start small, most times is more sustainable because when you start small, you achieve more. It's a little thing, it's not a big deal. You want to do 30 minutes, for example, as I gave of you want to learn a new skill. You are committing 30 minutes a day to it. It's a lot easier to achieve 30 minutes a day than 2 hours a day. We know it's a lot easier to just carve out 30 minutes from your overly busy day than to carve out 2 hours. So you commit 30 minutes to learning this skill and you did it today, tomorrow, 30 minutes. It's easier to just carve out 30 minutes here and there. And then, before you know it, the 30 minutes is not enough even for you. You find how to carve in a little more, maybe add another 15 minutes to the 30. And you go. Before you know it, 1 hour, 2 hours. But if you had started off with 2 hours, the tendency, if you even manage it the first few times, is that you will get tired of the whole process. So implement, but do batch implementation. Do what they call a phased rollout of this plan. Then finally, evaluate. Review. No plan should ever be cast in stone. Review, and review. Always review your process. Always review your plans. Measure whether your outcomes, the actual outcomes you're getting, whether they match with what you expected. Review. Don't ever get comfortable with your success. Review. Check. Is this what's the English word? Comparable. Is this comparable to what I have planned? Am I ahead? Am I behind what I had planned? What is happening? Do I need to tweak something? Do I need to change it up a little? Do I need to adjust here, adjust there? Review. Review. I think another thing that we do generally, as I say we, I'm careful to use that word we, because me, I'm doing these things that I'm saying. Another thing that I think we do that makes us not achieve all that we plan to achieve is we truly don't evaluate. We truly don't check. Why I know, am I really making progress in this activity? Is my progress at the pace it really should be? If not, why am I not meeting up? We truly see this interrogation of a thing. We interrogate our actions, our processes, our thoughts. It is such a liberating thing. It helps us achieve so much. So review that plan. It's not cast in stone. It can be amended. It can be changed if the need arises, but review it. Consider what you have achieved, which means you must have been tracking your progress. That's another thing. You must have been tracking your progress. If you don't, you will not have the data you need to do the review. So checking the data that you have, considering the things that you have achieved so far. Is it what it should be? Am I a little behind? Am I a little ahead? Am I just at the right pace? But you need to have had some kind of data for you to do the review. If you have not been tracking your progress in this process all this while, it will be difficult to do a review. But check your performance statistics. What did they look like? Ask for feedback. Ask for feedback. It's not just that you have checked and in your own assessment you're making progress. Ask for feedback from others. But remember that when asking for feedback, don't ask for feedback from someone that cannot tell you the truth. Don't ever do that. I make it a point, I try, let me be very plain and simple about it. I try to make it a point to seek feedback from people that I know are not afraid to tell me the truth. Because they're the ones that will tell you the truth. You need to hear the truth no matter how it is. So ensure that you're seeking feedback from people that are not fearing your face. No, we in Nigeria understand that expression. Ensure that you're getting feedback from people that will not be cowered by maybe you're their superior too much or something. It's not as if you can get feedback from those people, is good, but ensure that in that mix, you have people that will give you feedback who are not intimidated by you. People who will tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Seek feedback from such people. Always. Always. For example, we are giving an example of living a healthy, choosing to go on a healthy lifestyle. You want to lose some weight, you want to live healthier. And then in the process, when you're seeking feedback, you now ask somebody that will not know how to tell you that you have not lost any weight. I mean, you need to find someone that will tell you, my sister, I have been watching you. I don't know what the scale is saying, or probably the person might not know, but I am not seeing. I see you're still eating the same way you have been eating. You need to have someone like that giving you feedback. Very essential. Because many of us, we say we want feedback. We say we want the truth, excuse me. But truly, we just want somebody to validate our feelings. We just want someone to validate our feelings. No, look for people that will tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Feedback. And then, please, as much as possible, document. Document any lessons you have learned in the process. From the planning stage to the communication stage to the implementation stage, document lessons learned. Document them. However you want to document is up to you. You're somebody that likes to write. You're somebody that likes to talk, record it into your phone, but document lessons learned. Don't allow lessons to disappear or be lost. Document lessons learned. It will help you in the future. Those lessons learned, they will help you in implementing future changes, or even in tweaking the current change you're trying to achieve. Document lessons learned. Document lessons learned. And celebrate the milestones. No matter how small they appear, celebrate them. Coach Ife, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Celebrate your milestones. Remember that this is where the momentum, the motivation comes. Is one of the ways that the momentum and the motivation comes for you to achieve more, for you to do more, when you celebrate the milestones, when you celebrate the achievements, the things that you have done. It will help you so that you're able to do more. But do not lose sight of that documentation. Do not lose sight of it. I have there's a friend of mine that she's her brain is constantly working, honestly. So when some of the things she comes up with, I'm like, how is your brain working like this? She has a ton of ideas, a ton of ideas. And she documents step by step from how she got the idea as she documents everything is written down somewhere. Somewhere. So document the lessons you learn. It will help you to evaluate whether truly you are making progress. It will help you to evaluate what you need to change, what you need to leave as is, or what have you. Ensure that you are documenting lessons. Don't allow lessons you learn to be lost because you felt, I will remember. You're not a computer. You're not. Neither am I. So document it. Put it down somewhere. Anyhow you want to do it, but let it be somewhere. The other day I opened my phone notepad, the note taking. Honestly, I need to rearrange that in my phone because I have notes on everything. I was shocked. I have short notes on just about everything. I was looking at it and I'm like, Ngozi, you need to really sit down and arrange this thing properly. I have my thoughts on everything written down inside that note. The ones that make sense, the ones that don't seem to make sense, the ones that I'm wondering what was I thinking when I wrote this down, they are all there. They are documented somewhere. So always document. It helps you in the process of managing change. It helps you in the process of doing anything really. Whatever it is you're doing, document, document, document. And be ready to adjust as necessary. There is no plan that is perfect from beginning. It doesn't exist. It's as you review, as you get feedback, as you document lessons learned, you begin to make adjustments. You make amendments. You adjust the plans as needed. So Today, we looked at the change management process. And we said that it's a process that just helps you to navigate transitions, that helps you to navigate changes, whether at personal or organizational level. You can apply the same steps and you get the results. And we said that basically those steps are planning, communication, implementation, and evaluation. If you follow these 4 steps, your change will not only have a good level of success, it will be sustainable. So that is what is key. That is what is important, is that your change is sustainable. Not just that you're able to make changes, but is that those changes are sustainable. Okay, so successful change management does require that you have clarity of vision. It does require that you're able to communicate effectively. It requires that you're adaptable, and it requires that you are committed to learning and that you're committed to growth. This is how we change, and this is how we manage the change process. That I don't want to say there's no other way, but really, this is it. This is it. Plan, communicate, implement, and evaluate. It will see you through whatever change that you're trying to embark on. Even the change that just comes upon you. You know that, because most times when we talk about change management, we're talking about a change that you're trying to implement. Even that change that you did not plan for, when you have perfected this change management process and a sudden change comes, something comes up that you did not, plan for, you did not prepare for, you already know that I've got this. At least I know that I can adapt. I know that I can change. I know I can tweak 1 or 2 things. I know that I can, pivot or switch where necessary. So understanding this process helps you both for that change that is planned and the one that comes unplanned. All right. I think I will bring this session to a close here. Yeah, let me bring the session to a close here. The time is already far spent. So thank you once again for joining me this afternoon. I hope you are able to gain something. I hope you're able to learn something today. And I hope that you will go back as you're preparing for your 2025, as you're putting in place the things you want to do next year, as you're putting your plans in place. Put into practice some of the things that we have discussed today. And you will find that by this time next year, your chain of successes, your record of successes will be so high. To be so high. More than you've had before, because you have followed a process and you will begin to see sustained, change. And you begin to see sustained growth. So yes, those are adaptability and sustainability. Very key in managing change and in being able to have successful and effective change. Thank you all once again for joining me this afternoon on Growth Habits with Ngozi. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles. Everyone, follow us everywhere. Follow us everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Follow us everywhere. We are everywhere. I don't know. Maybe the only place we are not. Where? What's this one that the Snapchat? I think that's the only place we are not right now. We're on Facebook, Growth Habits with Ngozi. Instagram, Growth Habits with Ngozi. YouTube, Growth Habits with Ngozi. TikTok, Growth Habits with Ngozi. I'm even on LinkedIn, but that's in my personal name, LinkedIn. I also have my personal Facebook page, Please follow me on all my social media handles. And remember that our leadership bootcamp is coming up. It is at hand. In fact, it is almost here. It is almost here. So I'm sure you can see the link. It should be showing on this live, the link to fill the Google form for that bootcamp. And once you have filled the form, on the page, that's the last page that says, thank you for registering, there's a link there to join the WhatsApp group. Please ensure that you join that group so that you will not miss any information that will be given, because it's on that WhatsApp group that any information relating to this boot camp will be passed across to us. There's no other okay, maybe I'll consider also doing emails. I think I should do emails. So please connect to that. Remember that the bootcamp basically helps us understand leadership, gives us the essential skills that we need. This is targeted towards new leaders, but of course, if you have been leading for long, you can also be part of it. Building and leading high performance teams, leading through change and uncertainty, then personal development and growth. Those are some of the things that will be covered in this boot camp. It starts on the 12th of December to the 14th of December, just 3 days. Initially, I wanted to do a 7-day boot camp that would have been paid, but some things made me have to drill it down to these 3 days, and then I decided not to make this a paid session. This will be a free boot camp, 12th to 14th of December, the Emergent Leadership Bootcamp. The link should be showing on this live. If it is not, I will still put it up on in the comment section. So thank you all once again for joining me this afternoon. It's always a pleasure. You didn't see the link? Oh, wow. Okay, I'll put it in the comments right after. Once I end this live, I'll put up the link in the comments. Yeah, I'll put the link in the comments once we are through once I end this live. Thank you all once again for joining me, and remember to make today and every single day count. Be valuable and grow every day. Ensure that in every day that passes, you are valuable, you add value to someone, to something, to your environment, and that you are growing. Thank you all once again, and see you next week, Tuesday, right here on Growth Habits with Ngozi. Have an awesome day. Bye.